no, it's bigger on the inside than the outside. Ooh. Yes, I'm playing with my TARDIS. I love this song. I love this TARDIS. Yes, I don't really play with these, but this is my book, what's called book end. But I'm working. I'm listening to this. Oh, I fucking love this Doctor Who soundtrack. This is from last season. Oh, listen to that. Oh, it's so fucking great. And this one is great. This is brilliant. But then it goes into this. Oh, this is so fucking sad. Listen. Oh. When little Amy Pond's left behind. Oh, dude, I'll tell you what. That's a great show. It's a great fucking show if you're not watching Doctor Who. Even the new season. People bitch about the new season, but I love it. Anyway. I wanted to do a post. I don't know why I opened it that way. I actually do because I'm kind of like a little hyper, a little giddy because today, Sunday, is really, I think, the last day, and for about an hour tomorrow morning when the Utah crew, some of the Utah crew who's not in today, they get in tomorrow, is the very last day for the game, really. I mean, tuning and whatnot. As you know, it's gone gold, but we're doing a demo. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. And so we're also doing a day one patch, which is going to be a very, very, very small patch. I've gone on record. I hate patches, but that said, they're important in some cases. And there's a couple of bugs is why we're doing it, but the bigger reason we're doing it, well, they're both really important. You don't want to release it buggy, but we're also doing it for some real, final tuning and balance. Because once you go gold, you have a couple of weeks to play the game. And me and the QA guys and Justin and Scott out in Utah. We're just like, this seems a little unbalanced. You know what? At this point, if you guys have seen my interview with Veronica Belmont, here's Kate. You guys know Kate. Kate, you're on camera now. You know that, right? She doesn't care. It's fine. It is what it is. This is one of the benefits of working from home.
I've been on a video before.
You've been on a video. I know you have. Do you want to come? These are all people who are coming to the Twisted Metal blog to learn about Twisted Metal. This is Kate. Well, get over here. This is Kate. Goodness gracious, child, sit here. And then that's Austin, the dog, who just walked in. You want to talk about Twisted Metal with people?
I don't
Say,
know.
please buy my dad's game. I got. What do you want? If we were super rich, what would you want?
Every toy in the whole universe.
Do you understand, people? You've got to buy Twisted Metal. So what I get.
I want every girl toy in the universe.
You don't want every boy toy?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't.
Boys are evil, huh?
No, I just want girl toys.
Fair enough. Okay, so say please buy Eat, Sleep, Play and Sony Santa Monica and Sony's Twisted Metal. And action!
You.
No, action! You're the star! I'm going to make you a star! All right, let me go do this for people. People have been asking questions. You go play. Let me work, okay? I'll see you.
I can play in with you?
No, you cannot get on the computer anymore today. Go. I got to do this. Go. All right, seriously. Okay, so anyway, point being is, seriously, Kate. Dude, stop. I'm going to call Mom. Shut my door, please. Shut my door, please. Shut my door, please. Kate, May, Jay. Shut it. Thank you. Love you. Anyway, point being, what are you going to do?
I want to see Austin.
Bring him out. Bring him out now. Now, one, two. Just ask him to come. You don't have to drag him. Be nice to him. Okay, shut my door. Thank you. I love you. Okay. Right. Crazy, right? Point being, demo is, okay, so we're doing some day one patch numbers. So Scott and me and Justin and the team in San Diego playing the game going, hey, it would be really cool if this weapon did a little less damage. And one of the things we've been doing is we wanted to pull ramming damage down because it's great. We love the ramming game is back that we had back in TM2, but it's doing a little too much damage. So things like that it just, it takes a lot of time, to kind of suss those things out. I'll give you a great example on the ramming. So turbo is probably the most plentiful pickup in the environment. We didn't want it to just be with you. When we gave it to you as something that just regenerated and you didn't have to pick up, what would happen is it would kind of slowly fill up and people would just find themselves constantly tapping on it. And even if they got just a little bit of it, it would be this kind of, it would just give this weird little rhythm that wasn't fun. And so we turned it back into a pickup. And what was happening when we had the rams up really high, and there's this thing called I'm calling it the 6-axis slam. I don't think there's an official word for it, but you can unlock it in the online, and it's unlocked in the unranked automatically. And you basically take your 6-axis and you shove it forward. And if you have enough turbo, it's like an uppercut, really nice close, just for a little quick boost of speed. If you played Twisted Metal Black, it's very similar to Darkseid's speed boost as his special in that game. And anyway, so we had that doing a little too much damage. And we also have the threshold where if you hit a card going 30 miles an hour, that would do ram damage. And because the cars accelerate so quick, what was happening is you would barely be tapping, or at least you'd be perceiving you'd barely be tapping the enemy car. And you'd be getting 20, 30, 40 points of ram damage. So between the threshold needing to go up to like 55 miles an hour and us needing to kind of take the entire matrix of ramming numbers and bring those down just a little bit, those are the kind of things we're putting on the patch. And Scott and Santa Monica, and they're right. I mean, there were a couple things I wanted to do in the levels, and they're right, not as a day one patch. We're just not, because every time you change an actual level, you're talking about much more that has to get sent to the player. And no one likes day one patches. Certainly no one likes day one patches that don't kind of go zzz, and you're done, right? With Philip bar. You start downloading a huge, memory intensive level, and it starts to feel like, oh, fuck, I just bought this, I just want to play. So we may, if the game's successful enough, we'd love to, do future tweaks and adjustments to the game, and some of those hopefully will be level based, and those might be a little longer. But right now, for day one, getting it out there, we really wanted to address the key balance issues and some of the bugs. So anyway, that's what's going on, and that spins us into, yes, there is going to be a demo. Today is going to be the demo, getting in the final numbers for the demo and for the patch. And so it's today and tomorrow morning, and kind of getting on a phone call with Utah. And then that's it. That's all she wrote, And then if we ever touch Twisted Metal again, it'll really be either because it's successful enough that there's a big enough community that says, hey, we'd really like to get some of these things in via patch, or there's some really heinous, bugs, which, we don't think there are, we think, it's been through crazy tests and, format cleared it, but you never know, especially when it's an online game. So, but, point being is tomorrow may very well be, tomorrow morning, the end of the line for this title when it comes to sort of, game design and working on it. And it's exciting. I mean, I honestly think if we actually get done tomorrow, I think I'm going to take half day off tomorrow and go see Warhorse, because I haven't been able to see it. I'm a big Spielberg fan. Anyway, this is like 7 minutes. You're like, Jaffe, what are you rambling about? Didn't you want to talk to us about the game? Yes, I did. So I'll now here, if you've skipped ahead to 7 minutes or 7 minutes and 10 seconds, let's begin facts. So I had some things I wanted to address. These are sort of questions that we've been getting a lot the last couple days, mainly on the Twisted Metal forums, and I wanted to address them here and put it on the blog. Okay, so there's a guy named Voteri. I don't know if he's trying to write Voltaire and he missed the L, or Votaire. I don't know what his name is, but it's Voteri, whatever. But he's really upset. I don't want to be dramatic, but he seems kind of peeved that we don't have bots in our 3 and 4 player split screen. And I want to talk about that a little bit, and in doing so, talk about our split screen in general, because I've been wanting to talk about this. So here is, I'm going to aim the computer, my webcam, and if you're seeing the screen flicker and jump, that's not the actual final game. That's because I'm actually running a Blu-ray, but I'm running a non-optimized version of it, so I still have my tweaks, and so you're getting some stuttering and things, but that's certainly not what the game is. So if we look at, this is 2-player, if you go to local 2-player, and you can play your competitive story, and you can also go to deathmatch. And you're just like, well, deathmatch is the only mode we have in 2-player split. However, and that's because all of our other modes, I'll give you an example, right? So first let's talk about the maps. You've got our 8 core maps, and then as you can see, you've got map variations, and that literally takes you on online and 2-player split to over 30 maps that you can choose from. And so if you're just talking split screen, it's you and your buddy sitting on a couch, there's 30 plus maps that you guys can play, which I'm really proud of the team for being able to create that amount of content. Now, yes, there are 8 core maps, and the other maps are sort of maps based on it. But even if you look at sort of how this is broken down, the highlighted areas are actually what you get to play. That's the main level. This is a level where you've got the center, and it's only connected, the 2 factories, by canals that are very kind of, bottlenecky, or this big freeway strip. So every breakup really is designed, strategically to create a unique kind of gameplay. It's not just kind of like, arbitrarily we've just kind of thrown in some walls, right? So then if you say, well, only deathmatch, what's that about? Well, you look at all the modes, right? Clearly we couldn't have team games, right? So it doesn't make sense to play Nuke and things like that. You could say, well, where are your bots for Nuke? But Nuke's a real complicated game, and it just never would have been as satisfying to play it with AI. So we've got, dog eat dog, which is basically 1 kill, 1 point per kill. We've got carnage mode, which is, if you've played Twisted Metal Black online, it's basically damage. So it's less about the kill, although there is a bonus for killing, and it's more about doing the damage, doing more damage. And there's also a stay alive bonus. If you can survive for X seconds, you'll get a bonus. And then we have If you go down to, obviously, duration, kills goal, classic TM mode, off, on. So if you set this to on, which is my favorite, it's basically, if I kill you, I get the kill, and then we reset the game. You can also play it if you go, if I kill you, you just respawn X number of times until someone's died. And, excuse me, and you end up in a situation where, you may be down to like red health and the new guy comes back in green. And that's just more of kind of a back and forth marathon and versus the classic, which is really like a fighting game. It's like one battle and that decides the victor. So people were asking, it's like, well, why not last man standing? But you really have last man standing. If you go in and you say, okay, I want my kills goal to be 3, and you play it with classic Twisted Metal mode, it in essence is the first person to 3 kills wins the game, right? And then you can set things like, is the health semi-pedestrians? Do you only want to fight with one single weapon? Do you want unlimited weapons? Do you want the player indicators to be on or off on the radar or on your indicator and things like that? And then if you go and also set, you can set your bots from 0 all the way up to 10 bots that you can play in the game, in the split screen. So, and there's other stuff like environment hazards. So, like if you fall off a rooftop, does it damage you or does it kill you? Things like that. And then if you go into the 3 and 4 player split, I'll just do 3 because I only have 3 controllers hooked up. You're like, oh well, yeah, there are no bots, okay, and my assumption of the reason for that is. I honestly haven't talked to the team. Let me show you what we do have, and then I'll tell you why I didn't even think about asking about the bots, although I think I know why there are no bots. So obviously when you're talking about 3 and 4 player, you have much less, the levels aren't as big because you have to draw 4 screens basically, and we still have all the interactivity and explosions and effects. It's still running really fast is the goal. And we just, we can't do these massive levels, in 3 and 4 player split. So instead of 30 levels, I think it's like 10 levels where we've got like 2 from the suburbs, 1 from the canals, 1 from the rundown city. There's 1 on rooftops, things like that. Here's Merlin's Madness from Thrills and Spills theme park. And so within that, you basically have... you've got Dog Eat Dog, which is like deathmatch kills. You've got Carnage. You've got Net Dog, which every time you get killed, you lose a point. And you've got Net Carnage, which is every time you take damage, you lose some of your Carnage damage. You've got Kills Assist Deathmatch, which is more giving you points based on if you did a soft kill, a hard kill, if you had an assist. If you did all the damage to the guy that you killed, you get like 150 bonus points and things like that. So it's still based on death, but it's also based on death plus your contributions to that death. And then if you go to, and this is just the deathmatch game type, right? And you've got all the settings, duration, kills goal, health semi. But we also now have last man standing in 3 and 4 player split, which you can set respawn count, anti-can't ping, which lets you basically say, okay, every X seconds the radar is going to kind of ping your enemy, and you can have that off, or you can have it every 10 seconds or whatever you want. Respawn duration. We have Hunted, which is, you guys, you can look up Hunted on the internet, but it's basically another mode where it's kind of like the guy who's the hunted, everyone's trying to kill, and they can score points by killing the hunted, or if you're the hunted, you can only score points by killing other people. Actually, I don't know if you can kill, I think we just changed the rules, but I'll check that and get back to you, but that's the gist. We have Team Deathmatch, where you can play 1 versus 2 or 2 versus 2. Team Last Man Standing, where you can basically share your lives with your teammate, or you have your own individual lives. And Team Hunted, right? And so, and you can set your factions, and even like in Team Hunted, like we have things just nuance, like health grant, right? So if you become the hunted, we either have a setting that says, okay, if I'm driving Darkside, who has I think like 300 hit points, he basically will get when you become the hunted, he respawns at 300 hit points. Or we have one set that it's any vehicle you pick. If you set that health grant to common versus vehicle specific, and right now I think the default is vehicle specific because I think it just plays better strategically. If you set for common everybody, whether you're Crimson Fury or freaking Darkside, you're going to get 200 hit points. Whereas if you do vehicle specific, it's kind of tied to who you are. So all of these settings. So this guy, I know this is a long answer, I apologize, but it's Voteri or Votera was like, oh, I really like playing 3 and 4 player with my buddy with bots. I get that. Now my 2 responses to that are. Yeah, you're not going to get that. I mean, it's possible if the community complains and it's a big enough success that maybe we could patch that one day. I don't really know. It's certainly not on the plan. Part of my reasoning for not even thinking about it until you brought it up was that I was so and remain so excited because local is a big part of this game for us, local multiplayer. I'm so excited by the number of maps, by the number of options, by the number of modes that we've never had in a local, multiplayer split screen game before. That I was just like, oh my god, this is better than anything we've ever done. And so, honestly, I saw your post that was like, oh, me and my buddies really love that about Black. And it kind of just, I wasn't hearing that. I never heard that until you said it. So it wasn't my experience with Black. And clearly, if it was somebody's on the team, no one ever spoke up. And so that's one of the reasons it's not in. But another, I imagine it's not in 3 and 4 player is because while our levels are smaller, it's not like Black, where if you remember, like one of the levels was like, kind of the junkyard. So it was like an open pit, and the smasher in between, super small level. Our levels are not that small. They're a lot more interactive. Our effects, our destruction and our special effects are a lot more, memory intensive. It probably was because they were saying, the team was saying, and actually I'll ask them and let you know, they were saying, if we do this, it's just going to kill our frame rate, and so that's my thinking. I don't know, but I'll find out. But again, if that's not the game you're looking for, then I am sorry, because we always want to make all of our Twisted Metal fans happy. But we absolutely do not have bots in 3 and 4 player. We have lots of amazing stuff in 3 and 4 player we've never done, and we have it in 2 player. Bots up to 10, and you and your buddy. So hopefully you'll find something you like if you choose to give us a shot with the new Twisted. Let me race through these online passes. Sorry it's so long, you guys. Online passes. People are like, yes, we are doing an online pass. No, I did not want to do an online pass, but it's not that I'm torn on the online pass thing as sort of a general philosophy. What I will tell you is, I didn't want to do one on this particular game because for me, I felt it was a special enough case to say, look, we have to build the community, we have to rebuild the Twisted Metal brand, and I was hoping that anything that we can do, even if we lose sales up front because we bring people in who are buying it used, and it's a whole another debate, and not for this blog for sure. Go to my own personal blog if you want to hear my thoughts on used games and rental games and all that. But whether it's good or bad, in your opinion, publishers and developers aren't making any money off any of the used sales, and so we do lose a lot of money off of used and rentals. And ideally, there could be a way that the customer could get those great deals and have resale, and we wouldn't be ending up kind of losing, some people say 50-60% of what we used to make off the games that goes back into making more games by used sales. The point being is, so I was saying with Twisted, because we really are, in a lot of ways, we're looking at this as a brand new IP. People know Twisted, but we have to build a whole new fan base as well as the hardcore. And for me, it was just like, man, whatever we can do to get people playing, even if we lose some sales up front, if we sell enough and the fan base is passionate because we really believe in this game, and if people give it a shot, we think they'll love it, then we'll get to make a sequel. And then, then I'd say, let's absolutely do an online pass. So I don't want it to, people have been kind of framing it like, Jaffe lost to Sony. I'm with Sony on the fact that something should be done. I just didn't think this particular game was a game that we should have an online pass, but it wasn't my call, and it's Sony's game, and they funded it, and I respect their decision. King Marcico wants to know, will I be online? Will the team be online? I cannot speak for the team. I cannot imagine this incredibly hardworking team who has given their heart and soul and years of their lives to this game that we love so much will not be online. I can tell you I will be online when the demo hits, and I will be online. I don't know if I'll be... I have some PR stuff I have to do on the 14th, so I can't imagine I'll be on, even though I'll be dying to be on the 14th. But I will be on certainly obsessively with this game, and as a job to watch the community, see what you guys like and don't like, see what we can fix. And also, I love this game. I'm a fan of it, so I want to really play it and have a good time with it. I didn't know this. I've only had my own personal PSN ID for a long time, since I got my PS back in the day, PS3. But I guess I can make another one that I'll make just for playing with fans and stuff of the series, because I don't like giving out my own personal one, because that one is for friends and things like that. And I can't speak for what Scott will do or the team will do, but if they feel, if they are so inclined, and I hope some of them are, that they'll maybe post on this blog or another blog, or I can list out the PSN IDs of the Eat, Sleep, Play and the Sony Santa Monica team of people who are looking to play with fans. And, because I think... Twisted Metal's been around for a long time. I think we're all fans of the series, and we just like playing with people who love the game. So I can't wait to do that. Some saying 101 wants to know about a demo. Yes, we are doing a demo. Like I said, I'm going into the QA department in the next 3 or 4 hours to sit with those guys and make sure the final numbers for the day one patch and for the demo, it's what we're happy with, on the QA department, what I'm personally happy with, what Scott's personally happy with, and the crew out in Utah. So yes, there will be a demo. I believe it hits. Now, I don't know how much details I can go into. It will definitely hit before the game comes out on February 14th. So in the next couple of weeks. Whether it'll have a couple of modes, a level. There will be a single player component, so you can kind of get a sense of the bots and sort of what that's about. But certainly we'll be having. I think we're doing the nuke. I know we're doing the nuke mode, and we're doing team straight up deathmatch, kills assist deathmatch is I think what we're calling that mode that we're doing. And so yes, that'll be out pretty soon. What are you gonna do? XX slap a baby. XX. Really? Okay, fair enough. I mean, hey, thanks for being a fan. Slap a baby. Okay. I could go so many off-color places with that, but I'm not going to because it's the Sony blog. 1v1 online and offline. Here's what I'll tell you. So yes and no. There is not an officially, I wanted that, and Scott and I talked about it, we just didn't have time, where it would be an official, 1 versus 1 old school TM. But that can absolutely easily be set up. It's not all matchmaking. You can go into a server list, you can password protect games, you can create games that are not password protected but are very specific, which is like, look, I'm doing a deathmatch game, it's this rule set, it's me and one other guy can come in and play, and you can absolutely replicate old school Twisted Metal over 30 plus levels online, and obviously offline as well, locally. So yeah, that will be there, but it's not kind of called a specific mode. But I agree. I think that's great. Meet Augur, who's always been a great fan and supporter of the series. So I want to say thank you publicly to Meet Augur. He was asking about a rear view. Here's what I'll tell you. There's actually is rear view in the code. And there's look back in the code, but it's not in the actual shipped game. And if it turns out enough people really demand it, it's a relatively easy thing to kind of give out to the world. The reason we didn't have rear view, honestly, was frame rate. We're doing so much destruction. We're doing so much high-speed driving. And we felt the need to kind of put these little remote windows for remote bombs and Reaper's RPG and various things we want you to keep track of for certain weapons like Shadow's Coffin Bomb. We found that was used a lot more. People who were actually, looking at the rear view or a look behind, we found most people who were kind of playing with that kind of desire for, surround knowledge were looking at the radar where we have the weapons firing off the radar and things like that. And so it just really never, in any focus test we had, it never, and also us as players, it never became something we needed. We wanted it, so that's why it's in there, because it is cool to see that, it gives you a little bit more information for sure. But it was a frame rate issue, it was a button issue. All of our buttons are taken. We could probably come up with some kludgy way to do it, but we'll wait and see if that becomes something that a lot of people ask us for. Limited edition. Let me do my very best to be clear on this. There is no official limited edition like a collector's edition that costs more, that has different packaging. All a limited edition is that when we ship the first print of the game, and however many Sony is printing and shipping to stores, I don't know. And that will have a voucher in it for Twisted Metal Black that you can download to your PS3. That's the same price. There's not going to be any other edition on the shelf. It's limited, though, because once those all sell out, and hopefully they will, and hopefully stores will say, hey, Sony, can we order some more because we're selling lots of copies of this game. When they do the second printing, there won't be a voucher. So if you buy the game, certainly on the first day, and I imagine is in the first week, I mean, you never know. You pray it sells out in the first day, and then they get new copies in the next day, but who's to say? That it won't have it on the second printing. So that's what the limited edition means. So a lot of people have been saying, hey, where's my limited edition? I need to order that specific one. It's not a specific one. It's just get it first if you want that. Axel, my understanding is Axel is pre-order everywhere. So what people have been saying, it's just GameStop. It's supposed to be Best Buy. It's supposed to be Amazon. In fact, I think if you go to the Amazon page, it has the actual pre-order. So check and see. I mean, I've seen people say, oh, well, my store says, well, that we don't know anything about that. So I'll try if I will have some time this week. So I'll do my best to check and see what's up with that. But my understanding is it should be everywhere. And somebody's been asking about Canada. And again, I apologize. I just haven't had the chance to check for you. I've just been extremely busy, but I think this week's a little clear, and I can check into that. But Axel is definitely, we know it's GameStop, but I'm pretty sure it's all these other retailers as well. Finally, ZenGod2 wrote this post on the blog, or on the thing about flaws on our forum. So let me hit them all really quickly. Am I the only one who wants Spectre? Well, yes and no. Let me tell you, Spectre is Kamikaze is Spectre. We're not changing the name of Kamikaze to Spectre, as some people have speculated. Kamikaze used to be called Spectre. He will officially be called Kamikaze. So Spectre's kind of a love-hate. Some people loved him in TM Black Online, and some people fucking hated him because of that missile. We do have that weapon in the game. It's called Laughing Ghost, and now it's been given to Sweet Tooth. And we thought that the balance of that, and also the fact that you can target it when it's coming after you and shoot it out of the air and see a much bigger target, which is the big, ice cream truck head, clown head on top of the ice cream truck, made for better gameplay and more fair gameplay. So we'll see what happens. But Spectre is gone. At least in this version. If we're fortunate, we have some success with the game and do DLC. I know Spectre might make a return, but we don't know if we're doing DLC right now. Marcus Kane and Minion, he says the game is based on multiplayer. Yeah, no, I hear you. He's basically talking about how Twisted Metal Black and 2, and it was this kind of epic story where things kind of tied together. And I appreciate that you like that. I was one of the writers on it, and I liked it too. But this new one really is, like Black for the most part was, standalone. And so Marcus Kane is in the game, but it's not the same kind of Minion Marcus Kane connection. So that fiction at the moment is kind of sidelined for sort of a new reboot's kind of a cliche term, but it's a rethinking. It's kind of a new universe that takes what we think are of the best of the Twisted series, just like we did with Black. When we went from 2 to Black, now going from Black to this one on PS3, it's just a new universe. And finally, he says, yo, a lot of people better buy this game. That would be great. Because Jaffe said if he don't make enough sales, then no DLC. And DLC had Twister in it. Well, I can tell you Scott did an amazing model of Twister. And I think he was doing one of Pit Viper, and I think he was working on one other one, and they were amazing. But, we just honestly, we're a small team, and we put this game out in a couple weeks, and we really don't know y'all. I mean, it's like we are super proud of this game. I think it's the best Twisted we've ever made. And I couldn't be more proud of the team and of Sony and Sony Santa Monica for all the amazing contributions they made, and of my own work on the title. But we don't know if it's going to sell huge or sell small, or we have no clue where it's going to go. And so, if it's a success, that would be a blast to do DLC, whether it's levels or modes or vehicles. But right now, yeah, it's up in the air. So we will see. And that's kind of it. This was extremely long, wasn't it? But I got to get to work on some other stuff. I wanted to thank you all for your questions and your interest, and thanks for hanging in there. It's a freaking long post, and I'll see you soon. Last day today, last day tomorrow morning. Wish us luck. See you soon, guys. Thank you so much.